Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways.
Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the wheat group. You've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared.
Well, then tell me what it is.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles, sort of thing. Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry, that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
Where's the funds?
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean? Oh, Justin, you're awake. You made it. Have a seat. Have a coffee. You need some wakey time.
Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription. So we cut it. It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody. Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here. Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. Welcome to another Chillin' Chat. We haven't done one of these in a while. I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for this one on the title because while we titled it that the countdown is on for Justin Trudeau, what do I mean by that? No, as Pretty Weird Duck says in the comments, Trudeau is not on his way out yet. We're counting down because it's about a year away until Justin Trudeau is out of a job. We are officially in the final year of Justin Trudeau's tenureship. Now, there's rumors speculating, of course, that he's not going to give in to the Bloc's demands, and we could see an election before Christmas. And again, once the mainstream starts reporting on that, you have to start to wonder if rumors are speculating in the House of Commons that, again, something is going to happen. And while I am talking about that, I still think it's celebratory to think that we are less than a year away from the 10 years that we've dealt with Justin Trudeau being out of a job, out on his butt, and some changes coming to Canada. Now, the reason for that title, and again, I know people are going to get mad. People are going to say, WTF am I watching here? What's going on? We're doing a Chillin' Chat. We haven't done a Chillin' Chat in a while. And what are Chillin' Chats? Well, I sit here, I chat with you guys. We talk about really anything that you want to talk about, whether it's politics, whether it's ask me anythings. And sometimes I kick back and relax and play some retro video games with you guys and chill and chat while we do that. That's how I kick back. I don't know if you guys can tell by the background of the studio, but I kind of play video games sometimes, and it's kind of how I relax, and it's always fun to sit down with you guys in the community and relax as well. Let's get a roll call going on. Let's see if we can get somebody from every province in the country up in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from, and if it's your first time here, well, shout out to the chat where you're watching from if it's your first time in, and let's get it started. Joe Lyman asking, how has your Fortnite streak been going? You know what? Fortnite's been great. I'm very addicted to Fortnite. Zero build only. I don't do the building stuff. But maybe we'll do a Fortnite stream one night. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see how it's going. Of course, Joe Lyman coming in from Red Deer. We've got David coming in from Maple Ridge, BC. I apologize. I'm looking off to the side. My chat is on a different monitor tonight. Peggy Spence from Saskatchewan. Chris Accurate coming in from Sterling, Ontario. We've got Marcus from Airdrie coming in. We got Pretty Weird Duck from Alberta. Yeehaw! Come on in. Welcome in, Pretty Weird Duck. I think it's the first time I've seen you in here, but welcome into the stream. Princess Thickness, good old viewer of the channel, coming in from Montreal. We got Marie Perrin coming in from Napanee, Ontario. Goofy Foot, welcome into the stream. Great to have you in here. Princess Thickness, yes, we're coming in from Montreal. Larry Prince from Port Elgin, Ontario. J-Bye coming from Montreal, and I'm just chilling and knitting. Welcome into the stream. It's great to have you here. Diana coming in from Edmonton. We've got Amy Marie from Charlottetown, PEI. We've got Andy from Napanee in the house. Welcome in. We've got Louise from West Grey, Ontario. Habu coming in from Niagara Falls, Ontario. Roy coming in from Boyle, Alberta. Welcome in. Canadian Warrior once again joining us from Lethbridge, Alberta. In Lethbridge, Alberta wrestling, they were booing Justin Trudeau. Good to hear. That's always good news, isn't it? News is always bad news. It's always good to hear those things. And Terrace coming in from Toronto. Welcome in. We got Stinger from Binbrook, Ontario. Welcome in. Sylvia coming in from Okotoks, Alberta. Xylo coming in from somewhere that's not summer anymore. Welcome. Isn't it really for nobody? We got Mike St. John coming in from Sudbury, Ontario. Kim from Windsor, Ontario. We've got, hang on, CB, I'm going to get to you. We got the 4X guy coming in from good old Winnipeg, my hometown. CB Fixes All from Third Rock from the Sun coming in. CB, always great to see you. I don't know if you guys know this, but I've known CB for a couple of years now. Same with Master of Snatch, Joe Lyman. Those guys work tirelessly in the background to always go into the Discords, show me articles that need to be discussed. They help out with video recommendations. They're an absolute pleasure to talk with, and I'm really grateful that as we climb to 50,000 subscribers on this channel, we wouldn't be where we are without the help that comes from those three individuals especially. So shout out to CB, shout out to Joe Lyman for joining us, and Master of Snatch if he finds his way in here. We've got Tess coming in from Uxbridge, Ontario. Welcome in. Lapin C. Zen coming in from Good Morning Vietnam. Welcome in. Great to have you here. Greg Archer from Coborough, Ontario. Great to have you. Reggie, Quebec City. We've got Dave coming in from London, Ontario. Susan from Oliver, BC. Hopefully it's over soon. We got a year or less. We're doing the home stretch. Karen from Frankfurt, Ontario. Welcome in. Joe Lyman. Thanks, Derek. Listen, I got to give the shout outs. I appreciate the effort, really. I'm not afraid to recognize that it's a group effort in this community. I've always said we have one of the best communities on the platform inside this channel. It's always good to give that recognition when it's due. Canadian Warrior Pierre Polyev is fighting for our Canada. Welcome into the stream. Great to have you. Glenn coming in from Saskatoon, Manitoba border, or Saskatchewan, Manitoba border, I should say. Saskatchewan, nonetheless. Ciclano Toronto saying, I knew he was going to say it's a year away. Well, yeah, I mean, what else did you figure? Like, we don't clickbait on this channel. I know a lot of people think it's clickbait. What else do you want me to title the video? I mean, we're celebrating. It's a year. We got a year. We're counting down. Let's, I know I'm going to get heat when the stream is over. I guarantee you, there's going to be a handful of comments. People say, you're clickbaity, you're lying, you're just trying to get views and clicks. No, it's just, we have to have a subject for the live stream. Ingrid Stewart with her husband Charlie coming in once again from Okotoks. Welcome into the stream. Kendall saying, hey brother, great show. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Julian from Kitchener, Ontario. Philip from Red Deer checking in. We've got Cindy, Southwestern Ontario, Canada. Welcome in. We've got Len from Alberta. We've got Grandma G coming in. Lynn from Minusing, Ontario. Sorry for mispronouncing that. Bula Hillier coming in from Innisfail, Alberta. Great to have you here. It's great to have you in the stream. Once again, we got Tom's Music coming in north of Fort St. John's of BC. Welcome in. Great to have you in here. Who else do we got here? Chuck Davis, Peterborough, Ontario. I hope you and the family are well. How's the wife and kids, and how's the house coming along for selling it? Chuck, I've got 2 viewings this week. We're actually at a point where we're talking about possibly lowering a little bit because, well, houses just, as you get closer to winter, they're not moving as fast as they should. And Calgary's market has really changed. And I think a lot of people are waiting for those interest rate drops. At least that's what the realtors are all kind of concurring on, that it's a matter of the time of year, the interest rate changes. But the good news is that the banks are starting to follow suit with the interest rate change from the quarter point that came down a few weeks ago. So I think that's starting to speed up the market. So again, hopefully with the price drop and a few people interested this week, we can see an offer and get the hell out of here and make our way to Spruce Grove. I'm really looking forward to small town life, but thank you for checking in. Everybody's great, by the way, and thank you so much for asking. Great to have you in here, Chuck. Let's see. Canadian Warrior, have you watched The Pleb? I've had The Pleb on here many times. In fact, I hung out with The Pleb when I was in Ottawa last, and he's a great guy. I got no issues with The Pleb. It's always good to chat with The Pleb. Always look forward to catching up with him. Who else do we have jumping in? Mike St. John saying a year is a lot of time to ruin Canada. Yeah, but it's not as long as 4 years or 10 years, right? It's not a new term. It's not his decade-long tenure. We're coming to the end. Joe Bobby jumping in from Edmonton. Let's go. It's all good. I'm just kidding around. I know you're kidding around. I'm just dropping that guy. I guarantee you, come back and check the comments after the stream. Maybe tomorrow, drop in and check the comments. I guarantee you, there's going to be people in here calling that it's clickbait. LC coming in from Macosin, BC. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I've never actually heard of that town. I'm apologizing in advance if I'm mispronouncing that, but welcome into the stream, LC. Great to have you here. Trudeau and Singh and the criminal syndicate needs to go to Gitmo, says Gabriel Church. Welcome in. It's great to have you. Yes. Night of Falima, don't price drop too much. We're only coming down a couple thousand. It's really just to get us back in the top rankings. So essentially what happens when you drop your price, it essentially puts you at the top of the list and alerts people that may have already looked at 20 or 30 houses that, hey, this house just came down a little bit. So it's really just to put us at the top of the list. No, we're not taking a huge price cut. The wife and I have actually discussed it. Our contract with our realtors runs till the end of October. We just said, look, we'll bring it down a little. We'll get underneath a certain mark so that it looks attractive by a couple $1,000s. And then if it doesn't get an offer, if it doesn't sell, we'll hang on till spring. And then when busy season starts up again, when the interest rates have come down a couple of points, we'll get back on the market. We'll sell instantly, and then we'll move closer to summer of next year. And we're okay with that. We're honestly okay with doing it that way. We don't want to give the house away. So that's how it's going to go. Pretty Weird Duck. You have to be a millionaire to buy a house in Calgary. Well, you definitely have to have a large income. It's part of the reason we're leaving. It's just unaffordable. And with 3 kids growing up in this house that started out with only 1 kid when we bought it, we're just running out of space. And for us to upgrade in Calgary or near Calgary, we're looking at least $150,000 to $200,000 extra. Just can't do it. We can't swing it. It's not possible. Not possible. Did we get caught up already in the roll call? Rune 72, Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. Welcome in. NYCC coming in from Cockney, New Brunswick. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Welcome in. It's great to have you in. Jay by saying, I dream of October 2025. I'm hoping it comes sooner. Again, I don't think Trudeau's going to give in to the Bloc's demands. We may see an election before Christmas. I'm hoping at least it's called before Christmas. South Langley, BC coming in from Blue. Welcome into the stream. Great to have you here. We've got Tracy Armstrong, faithful subscriber from California. Welcome in, and great to have my American audience in here as well. I appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out. It's great to have you guys in here for this chill and chat. Bliss and Chains coming in from London, Ontario. Guys, we're sitting at almost 430 viewers on this chillin' chat as we get into the stream. I can't forget about Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me coming in from Salmon Arm, BC. Gorgeous town. Gorgeous town. Gwen saying, my son wants to move back home to Nova Scotia from Calgary. Man. I get it. Calgary's just... Here's the problem with Calgary. I know a lot of people are chiming in still. We got Randy. Is this the other Randy coming in from Winnipeg? Name the 11. I wish they would. Semi-auto Hodges Cave, Newfoundland. Welcome in. Ace, Bonnyville, Alberta. We've got Mary coming in from Vernon, BC. Lou coming in from Kirkland Lake, Ontario. And Ken Smitty from Manitoba. The Tune of Lee joining us once again from Edmonton. Welcome in. Chris saying, ring that bell on your way in. Don't forget to get a thumbs up in there, guys. The thumbs up lets people know, hey, this stream's fun. It's worth hanging out and chatting. It's it's good to have people in here. It's always great to have people in here. Hello from Vancouver, says Miss Helith Razor. Welcome into the stream. It's great to have you here. It's look, we still got the roll call going, guys. Kron coming in from Vancouver, BC. Great to have you in. Lee saying, cool Monday night stream surprise. It is. As you guys know, again, I'm going to get into what the Chillin' Chat is. Again, Chillin' Chats, I like to kick back and relax sometimes. Friday Night Fringe, Mrs. Fringe joins us on the streams. We always chat about what's happening in the world. We have some quirky stories. We have some fun back and forth with you guys. These streams are designed to just be kind of like a laid back hangout session. You guys can essentially talk to me about anything you want. Again, the stream was just laced with hey, Trudeau's got less than a year. Let's celebrate. If you guys want to talk about anything to do with Trudeau, anything that's going on in the House of Commons, drop it in there. Drop your questions. While I get to those questions, we're going to chat about them. I'm gonna play some retro games because that's how I kick back and hang out with you guys while we do so. That's the nature of these chill and chat streams. In fact, I haven't done one in a while just because of the craziness of having our house on the market, constantly running in and out doing showings. I just haven't had the right schedule to do these things. And I know a lot of people on Friday nights have been asking, hey, Derek, when are you going to get back to the gaming streams? I enjoy them. So this tonight was more just a, hey, I'm sitting around. I got nothing going on for once. Let's jump in. Let's have some fun and play some retro games. Because again, I don't know if you guys look in the background. I tend to enjoy my retro gaming. And it's how I unwind. I'm not a sports guy. I'm not one of those guys who goes curling or plays basketball. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a little bit shorter if you've ever met me in public. But hey, this is it. Goofy Foot. You need a countdown clock. Maybe. I know there's other streamers that I watch in the arcade industry, like good old Mikey B, who have the countdown clock. But I just haven't got around to that yet. Again, we don't really do the old countdown clocks that often, or any. We basically have our long intro for the stream. Let's get the old stream going, shall we? Let's. Speaking of Mike B, I seen a post with him the other day. He posted a meme about people who play current games who don't know how to play older games, and he showed a Contra meme. Good old NES Contra. I think I'm going to start out with some Contra. I used to run Contra almost on a deathless run. I've run a deathless run in front of Master Snatch once before. And I think that's where I'm going to start off tonight here with the good old launch box kicking around. Oh, the Trudeau countdown clock, says Goofy Foot. Okay, I thought you meant the countdown clock for the streams. Hang on a sec. Let's hide this sharing button. We don't want that in here. There we go. We'll get rid of that for you guys. Ken Smith saying, I played Pong. Pong is an awesome system. In fact, I have a Pong system. It's called the Telstar Coleco Arcade. It's a triangular system from about 1976, I believe, or 77. It's got a gun on one side, a steering wheel on the other, and then a Pong console on the third side. What did I say we were going to start off with? Some good old Contra, I think. I miss playing Tron in 7-Eleven. Tron is an awesome arcade game. I love Tron. Out of all the arcade 1-ups that came out, that is the one arcade I didn't grab. In fact, one of the arcade 1-ups I wanted to get my hands on went on sale this week, I noticed. Is that game audio too loud for you guys? The streaming software is a little wonky with StreamYard. So if it's too loud versus my chatting, let me know and I'll turn down the audio on the game volume. Deadly Discs. It's too loud, says Colette. Okay, let me maybe slightly too loud. Let's get that. I'm sorry, guys. It's one of those things I have to adjust because every time I shut off the stream, it resets. Let's get it turned down a little for you there. How's that? A little bit better for you guys? Maybe a pinch, but not too much. It's so Arcade 1-Up this week came out with their Dragon Slayer cabinet on sale temporarily, or not on sale, but back in stock. If you notice behind me, I've got the iArcade Dragon Slayer, but it's not authentic to the original Dragon Slayer cabinet. The Arcade 1-Up Dragon Slayer looks like a gorgeous machine. It's one of the ones that I passed up on back in the day, and I'm honestly debating picking it up, but again, being in the process of moving and trying to minimize expenses, the wife, I told her, they came back in stock. We were going to get one last year around this time, and they went out of stock. And we were told that they weren't going to get any more in Calgary, and now they've come back in. So the wife was saying, well, do we go and get it now? And I just kind of said, I'd like to. I just can't justify spending the money at a time when we're moving, which really sucks. But I'm hoping one day one will show up like on Facebook Marketplace or something, and I can pick one up for cheap. But and a lot of people say, well, you've got the Dragon's Lair behind you. Why would you buy, another Dragon's Lair cabinet? Well, because this one looks authentic to the original cabinet. I'm a fan of nostalgia. Dragon's Lair being one of the first arcades I ever played. It holds a very near and dear spot to my heart. So does Donkey Kong, for that matter. Arthur, okay, you gotta love the Dragon's Lair. I do love the Dragon's Lair. I may still decide to go and pick up the Dragon's Lair replica at some point. Chris asking, does my wife play as well? My wife, she'll play arcade games if I'm hanging around playing arcades in the basement, but she doesn't play, like, video games. Big fan of mobile games. Is Canada going to recuperate all the money stolen from us? Very doubtful. I mean, it's the government. Theft is in... It's almost in their contract, isn't it? Oh, where's Waldo's speedrun? Says Xylo. Oh my god, it's like you want to torture me. You'd think when people come in for these streams, they'd be like, oh, I want to see this old game. I remembered it was so great. Everybody's always, hey, can you play this really awful, horrible game? I used to, before I got into YouTube, I've mentioned this before, I used to stream on Twitch about 4 nights a week playing retro games because during the pandemic, this was how I would unwind again, right? Like, with all the stress of being locked in the house and the kids being here and everybody going insane, I always enjoyed going on Twitch to kind of just play games and hang out and relax. But we often used to have people that came in and did the same thing. Oh, I was looking at the chat. DuckTales is goated. We did DuckTales on the last Chillin' Chat. I love DuckTales. I've always had a soft spot for that game. I was really hoping to pull off a deathless run, and I shouldn't have been looking at the chat when that happened. Of course, this is going to take longer now because I got the stupid little pea shooter. I don't have my spread gun. There we go. It's all done. Resonate saying, I would play Donkey Kong at Al's Pizza. Oh my god, that's amazing. I used to love walking into any kind of mom and pop shop in the 80s, 90s. And they always had like a couple arcades sitting there. In fact, there's a place in Winnipeg I always frequent that they used to have a location near where we used to live called Juniors. And they still have a Mortal Kombat 2 and Miss Pac-Man in there to this day. So anytime I'm back in Winnipeg visiting family, I always pop my head into Juniors, try to get a couple games in on a legitimate arcade cabinet. It's always fun. Oh, shit. Hold on. I missed my invincibility. We don't need it, but it just... I always hate when I miss that stuff. I'm a stickler. The OCD kicks in. It's like I left it behind. No man left behind. No bonus, no pop-up left behind. I used to get yelled at when I was a kid when I'd play this game because, the constant yelling when I'd slam my controllers on the floor. Contra was one of those games that just, you either loved it or you loved it. Or you hated to love it. I recently picked this game up complete in box for my Nintendo collection. It was one of my holy grails because, again, I played this game religiously as a kid. And when I sold off my 500 cart NES collection, I told myself I was only going to collect like complete in box, like games that I had total nostalgia for. This is one of the ones that I was looking for quite some time. Thankfully, I ran into one not too long ago. Jumped at it. Had to. Rescue Rangers. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that one. There we go. Arcades and roller rinks, a Canadian rite of passage. Well, any country, I would think, says Rick Spicer for Prime Minister. It's... Yeah, I mean... That was always the hangout when I was a kid. If you weren't at the mall, like Friday nights, it was always you wanted to go to the roller rink and play arcade games. I believe Winnipeg still has one of their roller rinks, or at least they just reopened one not too long ago that they used to have. Wheelies. I know Calgary recently reopened a roller rink as well, so maybe there's a comeback coming for roller rinks. NASCAR games. I had a hankering when I was a kid all the time. My local, so in Winnipeg, there was a place called Grand Prix Go-Karts. I used to go there. They had an Ivan Iron Man Stewart Super Off-Road arcade, and I used to love going there to play that three-player arcade game. I get cramps from using controller. Xylo says, I think Wheelies is still open. Yeah, I heard they're either still open or they reopened or moved their location and reopened about a year ago. It was like a grand reopening or something. I had some friends who posted online that they were going. Missile Command. Yes, Moon Patrol was a good game as well. I always loved the arcades when I was a kid, but I was a Nintendo kid because the whole thing was that as a kid, like the console gaming, all your friends had Nintendo growing up. And on the weekends, it wasn't so much going to the arcades, but you would go to the video store and rent a game. Your friends would rent games, and then you'd all, venture over to each other's houses to swap controllers and see which games are the better games. And so, like, while I played arcades, anytime I went to, roller rinks, hockey arenas, or just ventured into the odd arcade if my folks were, like, downtown running errands, console gaming was really where my days were spent for the most part. More so than arcades. The majority of arcade games that I got in as a kid was whenever my parents would take us to Chuck E. Cheese when I was growing up in Winnipeg. I was always running for the TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. I always called this boss Optimus Prime's twin heads. I mean, they kind of look like Optimus Prime's head. Oh, come on. It's got to be close. Well, one of them's gone. There we go. Sean saying good old blockbuster trips. Yes. X-Men Arcade, Xylo says, was great. It was amazing. Looks like a diesel punk Optimus Prime. That's funny. That is funny. This level was always the one that ruined my speed runs. or my, sorry, not really speed runs, but my deathless runs. And part of the problem is the respawn that comes in from the left side of the screen. You have to watch, because if you go only so far, these foot soldiers will start pouring in from the left side of the screen while you're ducking and shooting these guys with the turrets. Like that. Alright, we'll take some rapid fire. All right, there we go. Some crafty work gets us through. You need to check out Retro Oasis. I have. I've been there. In fact, I went there to play on the Donkey Kong machine that you bought, Arthur. And surprisingly, I didn't know they were going to sell it, or else I probably would have bought it before you did. If Retro Oasis is the one that had the escape room as well as the arcade. Xylo saying, where can a normal semi-famous YouTuber get these fun games? I can't really tell you where to get arcade ROMs or console ROMs. But there's places. A good old Google search will tell you where to get them. The program I'm using, Launchbox, is one that I've purchased a license to. They have a free version online, but to get the full experience, you really want the paid version, and I don't mind supporting guys who make good front-loading programs. Essentially, it just manages your collection of ROMs for you. I mean, Amazon sells a lot of game drives too, like hard external hard drives that you can buy that come loaded with games. But you got to be fast to jump on those because they often get delisted after the first like 24 hours. Arthur saying they have 2 escape rooms there. Yes. Resonate saying our town had many arcades during the 1980s. Starcade survived until 87. Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't come here to watch you play Contra. I want to hear some Trudeau conversations. I mean, it's kind of a... It's a chillin' chat. Didn't I tell you guys we were going to get it in the comments? I told you it was coming. But thanks for popping in, though. I mean, this is why we do Friday Night Fringe, and this is a chillin' chat. We separate the streams so that one's a fun stream and one's more serious. We can talk Trudeau stuff. What do you want to talk about? Hang on. Let's get caught up in the chat. Canada is allergic to Trudeau. Frogger is a tough game, and I play as terrible as bad. Mad Planets was a tough game as well. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think of a Trudeau as a Halloween costume? That'd be a pretty cool Halloween costume. And Joe Lyman, there's one in every crowd. There always is. I mean, I really don't. It is what it is. I mean, I didn't have to stream tonight. I just figure if I'm going to play video games, I'll hang out with you guys in chat anyways, because it's fun. But I don't need to get it. I don't need to grind anybody's gears. What's that? The second death? Oh wait, I'm invincible. Why am I taking my time here. Don't throw that at me. Stop it. There we go. Do you listen to heavy metal? If so, what are your favorite bands? Says Trev Elliott. I used to listen to heavy metal more before I had kids, because now, you know, my kids don't really like it when I'm listening to it. I used to listen to things like Lamb of God, Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, back in the day, as a teenager, I used to get into things like Megadeth, Metallica, Pantera. Big fan of Pantera when I was a teenager. I still am now, but I'm saying, like, if you're looking current. I love when people say Five Finger Death Punch. It's like, that's not metal. They're not metal. They're classified as metal, but they are not metal. You can't kill the metal. Metal will live on. There we go, a little extra lifeage. Oh, I cut it too short. Cut it too short. Five Finger Meth Punch. I mean, don't get me wrong, some Five Fingers okay, but it's just not... I classify it more as hard rock than heavy metal. Five Finger Death Punch to me is the kind of music that you'd listen to if you drive a pickup truck and, you know, weigh 110 pounds while you have a giant beard listening to them while, you know, drinking Monster Energy in your jacked up pickup truck. And by jacked up, I mean like you've got a lift on it because, you know, you don't have any testicles. It's an extension, so to speak. And definitely wearing like a black tank top. Black tank top, beard, 110 pounds soaking wet, Monster Energy. What's your favorite Stephen King horror movie? I'd have to say the original Stephen King's It or Pet Sematary. Small penis truck? It, guys, come on. Anytime you get there are guys who legitimately need to get lifts on their trucks for certain reasons. But depending on what they're using their truck for. But these guys that I see getting lifts and the loud tailpipes, if that floats your boat, that's fine. But to me, it's just like, it's like crying out, I'm an attention whore, you know? Like, it's just not... You look more stupid than you do cool, I think. But that's just me. My very first car ever was an 88 Camaro. Now, say what you will about that. I know a lot of people, oh, look, the Guido who likes his Camaros. I've told my wife when we buy a second vehicle when we move, I'm going to be looking at a Camaro. And damned if she says no to that. But I like classic cars. I like trucks, but you got to keep them worthy of what makes them great to begin with. Not by lifting them and making them look like monster trucks. You just... All right, here we go. All right, we're almost at the end of this run. We just got the face huggers to deal with, and the giant pulsating heart. Look at that. What was that? 2 deaths? 2 deaths. Not a bad run. Not a bad Contra run. All in all, pretty damn good. Goofyfoot saying my testicles and truck are just fine. There you go, Goofy. Look, I'm not trying to mash anybody who's got that. I just think that it's. I prefer trucks the way they're meant to be than the whole. Now I'm gonna eat my words because Zylo said Tesla has a Cybertruck. I actually, guys, I've been inside a Cybertruck. I don't like the outside, but the inside's really nice. They kind of grow on you. I'm not gonna lie. Somebody mentioned Rescue Rangers. I was almost thinking like Castlevania because it's Halloween. You guys want a Castlevania run? We'll get caught up in the chat for a second regardless. Let's because I know nobody came here to watch me play Contra, right? Let's get caught up in the chat. I don't know. I like to lift on my truck, and my neighbor wakes me up every morning with his loud exhaust, so I'm going to buy a ladder exhaust to piss him off. There you go. That's okay. Lone Wolf saying TMNT and Simpsons games at Chuck E. Cheese in Winnipeg was the best ever. Missed the simpler days. Yeah, the Simpsons arcade got a lot of play. I used to TMNT was always my go-to. Resonate saying Nintendo killed the arcades, Sony CDs killed the Nintendo, Napster killed CDs, movie rentals killed theaters, streaming killed movie rentals, MP3 players killed stereos, smartphones killed it all. I mean, kind of, yeah. That's Bjornson saying any horror movie buffs, I mean real horror movies like stuff from the 80s, early 90s. Oh, let me tell you, I could go on and on about horror movies from the 90s and 80s. People Under the Stairs, The Howling, Dr. Giggles. I used to be a sucker for 90s horror movies and 80s horror movies. Sleepaway Camp. Who doesn't love a little Sleepaway Camp? Monster Squad. I mean, that wasn't really a horror movie. That was more like an action horror comedy. I used to love watching horror movies as a kid because, like, anytime I'd go to my uncle's house, he was like the cool uncle who was always like, I'm going to let you watch a R-rated movie with my older cousins because it was just, he wanted to, I guess, be the cool uncle. Nightmare on Elm Street, I always used to love. Friday the 13th. But it was always the, like, Creep Show and even, like, movies like Bordello of Blood, Tales from the Crypt, and God, what were some other ones that were just really good that were really unknown? Bjornson, Monster Squad was cool, and sometimes they come back again. Poltergeist? I mean, that was a 70s movie, wasn't it? Didn't that come out in the 70s? Bad Taste. Oh my God. I remember watching Bad Taste. I rented that from a place called Jumbo Video in Winnipeg with my friends. It was so B-rated and awesome. The Wolfman has nards. Kick him in the nards! Oh, I missed my skip. Stephen King had some pretty cool horror movies. I remember, I think one of the last horror movies of Stephen King's that I watched as I was getting older, because I started to lose interest, was Sleepwalkers. Sleepwalkers came out and it was okay, and then I saw Thinner and was just kind of like, it's getting stale. The Shining? Oh, The Shining's a classic. creepy as hell. Not really horror, but creepy. And that's what makes a good horror movie. Like, a lot of people think it's the gore, the blood and guts, you know, the jump scares, the scare factor. To me, it's just the story itself. And The Shining's definitely up there. The Shining. Everybody loves a good Shining. Cujo. Cujo was one of those ones, though, that was like a one-off. Like, I'd watch it one time, and then it's like, okay. Nards, not nerds. Wolfman's got nards. I miss the old-fashioned Halloween nights with horror movies, popcorn, Halloween bums occupying the streets. Yeah, resonate. So my wife and I try to do that every single year. We'll watch a horror movie after the kids go to bed, and do that. We carry on that tradition, because that used to be one thing I would do even as a kid, was go out trick-or-treating. My parents had a pay TV movie channel when I was a kid called Super Channel. So I used to come in on Halloweens and I'd turn on Super Channel, and usually they'd have like a Halloween marathon going on every Halloween. Who remembers The Stuff? Wrong Turn, I saw that one. I used to be a sucker too as a kid for like older, like, I guess you could call them horror or like monster type movies. Vincent Price was a genius. I loved the original House on Haunted Hill. I just ate shit for no reason. I'm not even paying attention. I just killed my run. Mystical saying, Super Channel, that brings back memories. I made my mom watch Freddy Krueger versus Jason. She had nightmares for a week. Come on, that movie was more funny than scary. American Werewolf in London, also Paris, were great movies. Yeah. Love 70s and 80s horror. I mean, it was a good time to be alive because it was all about the scare factor. It wasn't about jump scares. Again, it was about the creepy factor. Vincent Price liked his stuff. Yeah. What movie was Pennywise the Clown? Why did the volume go up on this one? Hold on. I'm gonna have to get the volume down on that one. I don't know why the volume went up on this one. Sorry, folks. This game was awesome. I played it. I remember renting it as a kid thinking, okay, whatever, it's Rescue Rangers. And then it became very easily one of my favorite platformer games on the NES. Zipper. I'm trying to think of like some horror movies that really scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. The Howling scared me. The Howling was one of those ones that scared the bejesus out of me. Creepshow 2. There was a scene in Creepshow 2. It was like this blob thing in a lake. That was like if the teenagers would go swimming in this blob thing, it looked like a giant grocery bag in the water, would like eat them and swallow them whole and digest them. That movie made me scared to go in the lake. And Manitoba's known for its lakes. Like anytime you go to the cottage with a friend and, hey, let's go swimming in the lake, you just didn't want to. There was an old show that was, I gotta pause for a second. There was an old show that was like the that was like Tales from the Crypt or Creep Show, and they used to show it on Super Channels when I was a kid. It was called The Hitchhiker, not like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but it was called The Hitchhiker, and it was just like stories and tales, like Creep Show or like Tales from the Crypt. And it was the music, the opening intro of Hitchhiker, the music with him walking down the street with his thumb out. It was the scariest, creepiest music. My parents would watch that show, and I was like 7, 8 years old, and I'd get up in the middle of the night to get like a drink of water or something. And as I'm going to the kitchen, you'd hear that music on the TV, and it would scare the crap out of me. That was, and Pinhead and Hellraiser. Yes, Hellraiser was creepy as hell. And the death scenes were always like gruesome. Didn't they also have that on HBO, like around Red Shoe Diaries? They might have. We didn't have HBO when I was a kid because we were in Canada, and HBO wasn't a thing in Canada because of the CRTC and their rights on what you could show on television. The Hilarious House of Frankenstein. God, I used to watch that every Saturday. Wolfman Jack. The Prowler. Yep. All right. Oh, I missed. There we go. Oh, come on. That's not supposed to drop. This is the one thing I didn't like about the Rescue Rangers games is the bosses were just way too simple. Children of the Popcorn. There's my one-up. A one-app. Wolfman Jack inspired the voice of Wolverine. Did he really? The whole, let's go, bub. God, did anybody here watch X-Men 97? Like, I'm not a fan of New Marvel, but man, did they nail it with X-Men 97. It was like right in the nostalgia. Except the whole Magneto and Rogue thing was a little creepy about X-Men 97. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yep, that was a good one. People Under the Stairs. Yes, Hill Have Eyes. Yes. Penguin is pretty awesome. You know, that is one movie I haven't checked out yet that a lot of people are talking about. And I was skeptical. Trudeau are people really getting upset because we're playing video games on here? Is that really what I'm to believe? Should we just hang out and talk horror movies and Trudeau, I guess? All right, well, you guys want a regular stream? We'll go regular, I guess. That's the chill is gone. We'll just chat. Let's chat. I mean, the last thing we want to do is upset people on the stream, guys. I don't want to grind anybody's gears. But let's chat. Let me move over the old overlay. And here's what I'll do. Since we cut the games, throw your questions in the chat. If you want to talk Trudeau, throw your Trudeau questions in the chat. You guys want to talk horror movies? You want to talk about Anything else? Let's do an AMA. You guys throw it in there. Arthur saying keep gaming. Well, here's the thing. When the streams get downvoted, and believe me, they get downvoted heavily. People come in here and they used to get mad when I was doing these before. Maybe I create a second channel for the gaming streams. I don't know, but it screws up when we drop future videos when people do these because they get mad and go, I didn't. It was like the comment earlier. I didn't come here to watch you play video games. Well, it screws up our videos down the line. So we'll just chat, I guess. We'll Bam Bam. Derek does the best Peter Griffin. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's your house, do as you fit. Yeah, but it's more damage control for here's the problem. When I film videos, when I do a bunch of work to get them out for you guys, and then YouTube buries them because they don't know what to do with them because people have downvoted the previous stream, I have to do damage control at that point. I gotta watch what we're doing because everybody comes in here and some people act like babies. There's nothing I can do about it. Let's chat. Let's chat. Is the bird the word? I don't know about you, but I thought everybody had heard that the bird is the word. I'm not going to do the whole song. I'll actually get labeled. I'll get slapped with probably copyright infringement. I don't know if you guys saw Friday's stream. We showed that video of the clip of Justin Trudeau on the Colbert Report talking about Castro being his dad and everything else and wearing blackface. I got slapped with a claim. And YouTube, as I went to them and said, hey, this is parody. It's not the actual Colbert show that you clipped in the copyright claim. And they said, well, this isn't a copyright claim. It's content ID claim, meaning it's the image of Stephen Colbert and the image of Justin Trudeau. And I said, well, if that's the case, then you'd be flagging every video I make because we show news clips. We show different things in the House of Commons all the time. Like it's the same thing. And they said, well, it's technically not the same thing. It's potato. You're trying to slap the channel down for nothing. So the stream got demonetized. So again, I can't do bird as the word because the last thing I want is for YouTube to say that's an ID claim. Goofyfoot, when your background is arcades, one might think you'd play games once in a while. I'd like to. In fact, one thing I want to do very soon, and again, maybe I'll label it a pinball stream so that the babies don't come in. I'm gonna get the old capture card hooked up to the digital pinball. Maybe we'll do some Halloween tables for Halloween, something along those lines, because the pinball machine probably gets the most play next to my Donkey Kong Jr. out of anything in my home arcade. Love my pinball. And believe it or not, if you watch arcade community pinballers or arcade collectors, there's one infamous channel that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to give them any shade. These guys, so here's the thing about the arcade community. Some of these guys, they cover arcades, they review arcades. This one channel where this guy has an addiction to arcades. He has bought just about every arcade one up that has come out. He rents his home and he converted his master bedroom into his home arcade and told his wife they were going to sleep elsewhere. Who does this? That's when you have an addiction. And the newest version of this pinball table that's behind me, this is the At Game Legends pinball. It's a digital pinball table. They came out with the At Games Legends 4K. So better resolution, better tables, better play when they fixed all their problems. But anyways, this guy wanted to get his hands on a 4K pinball machine. They're about $2,000 in Canada. And he came out and asked his community to buy him the table so he could review it for everybody. Here's a thermometer, guys. Send me super chats and buy my table. That's where I draw the line on YouTube. I'm very grateful anytime super chats come into this channel, anytime we get memberships in the channel, but we give back on those memberships. I don't ask for those super chats. And anytime we get super chats, they usually go back into the channel, meaning we get better equipment. We get new overlays done. We'll get different things done to benefit the channel and keep it going. But to ask your community to buy your toys for you, I mean, come on. Dude, sell one of your 50 arcades and get the pinball machine. Don't ask for your community to buy it for you. And not only that, somebody who I was going to have on the show, and the reason I bring it up is because a lot of people like the Dragon's Lair behind me, and they always talk about, I'd like to build my own arcade. I'd like to do something like that. There's a guy named Glenn of Glenn's Retro Show. I want to have him on the show. He's coming out with what's called the Build-A-Cade, or the Build-A-Cade XL, I guess, where it's technically you buy the pieces for the arcade machine and you put it in a Raspberry Pi. It comes with an LCD monitor, so you can either go vertical, horizontal. You can rotate it how you see fit when playing with it. But you can put your own graphics on it, so you can make it look like any arcade machine you want. You can get any marquee made for it, or have an LCD marquee that changes in the machine. But it's also coming with a piece on it that can actually convert the arcade to look like this Donkey Kong Jr. behind me, so like a Nintendo cab. So essentially, you can make it into any arcade machine you want for way less than the cost of purchasing the real legitimate arcade machine. I've told Glenn to come on the show. I've spoken with Glenn many times. I think he's great. I've told him we'll have a chill and chat sometimes, when he's got it ready, so we can show it to some of my viewers who like the arcades. Because if you could build your own for a fraction of the price, I mean, that's the dream, right? Then you can have one of these in your house. Very easy to do. You simply point and click, you put it together, throw in a Raspberry Pi, it's all done. But this goof who was asking for his community to buy a pinball table was in the live streams. Send me one, please. I'll review. Oh, stop with the shilling. Stop with the YouTubing, e-begging. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Bam Bam, I love going to the pool hall as a teen and spending my allowance on arcade machines. Yes, absolutely. And bowling, yeah. Goofy Foot, it's going to be a great product. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm personally, as long as Glenn's shipping them to Canada, I'm going to get my hands on some Nintendo ones. I want to build a Donkey Kong, a Popeye, a Mario Brothers, the whole lineup. I want to do them all. It's I'm looking forward to it. I've seen a YouTuber actually asking community to donate money to him so he could buy a new video equipment, like WTF. Here's the thing. If you make good content, your community donates without you having to ask. And you should be using the money you make from views, the money you make from your memberships, the money you got to hustle on YouTube, and it takes time before you can make money. I was talking to somebody who asked me for some YouTube advice the other day, building their channel. And they said, well, you're doing very well on YouTube. Now, I do okay. I don't do as well as like other big channels, but I've been here for over 2 years, plugging away on YouTube, consistently uploading content. It's a grind, like anything else. It's like planting in a garden. You've got to give the plant time to grow. You've got to give it the water, the nutrients it needs. Eventually, it grows and you reap the benefits of whatever you're growing in your garden. When it comes to YouTube, there's no shortcuts. There's no easy money. There's no easy way to do things. Once you work yourself up to a position where you're making money on YouTube, use that money to benefit your channel. If you need new equipment, go and buy new equipment. But you don't ask people to buy it for you. That's like, to me, I've always had a problem with e-begging. I've always had a big issue with e-begging. Mystical, Play Choice 10. Yeah, I'll probably do one of those as well. Resonate, I love your arcade. How do you afford the power bill? So aside from the Donkey Kong Jr., all of these arcades run on LCD screens. So they don't use a lot of power. I've actually spent an entire month where I have shut off the arcade machines. And it only made a difference on my power bill of about $15 a month. So they don't use a ton of juice to run. Again, aside from the Donkey Kong Jr., but the only times I turn the arcades on is when I'm making these videos or when I'm down here playing arcades. So they're not always on. But it's a good question. It's a good question. Master Snatch, I mean, what dinner would you have Trudeau cook you? Nothing. Nothing. I wouldn't trust anything that man gave me. It won't be like the Biden Halloween costume. There's one person keeps tripping in those videos. It's hilarious. Did I miss something? Or people, is there where's Ingrid? If anybody dressed up as Trudeau for Halloween is playing with fire, I've seen people other years doing the blackface Trudeau. I think it's hilarious. California enacts a law banning voter ID requirements. Just a bit commie ideology coming out of there. The thing with U.S. elections is that the U.S. elections are very wonky because each state, to my knowledge, has the ability to switch the laws to benefit however they want to run their elections. meaning they can use Dominion voting machines or they don't. Paper ballots, mail-in ballots. I don't know if it's the federal government that makes those rules or if it's the state. I've been told it's the state, but I've also been told it's the federal government. So again, somebody would have to confirm that to me. Carson saying your electric bill $15 a month is like the Disney Channel. Listen, for $15 a month, again, that's my entertainment. I got no issues. Resonate says the state are the ones that decide that. Okay, so there you go. So you think about that. If every province in Canada had the right to decide how the federal election was going to run, how they were going to run their votes. If Ottawa or Ontario, I always say Ottawa, if Ontario decided, well, we're going to take mail-in ballots and Quebec's going to take mail-in ballots, but no other province is allowed to use mail-in ballots. I mean, it's very suspect. What do you say, right? What's coming up in America on the 4th of November is going to be revolutionary because it's really going to show how hard the Democrats are going to put the grease to the wheel to try and cheat their way through another election. I know a lot of people, much like these gaming streams, people lose their minds anytime we cover American stuff here on the channel. Oh, they're supposed to be Canadian. It affects Canada. What happens in the United States trickles down to Canada. In fact, the way that their voting turns out usually dictates how our voting is going to run. I don't know if you guys have noticed that over the years. It's important to cover these things. And if you think Justin Trudeau is slimy and has his shaky, scandalous behavior going on in Canada, you ain't seen nothing till we get to the US election. Bam Bam saying Trump 2024. I think Trump would do great things for the United States. I mean, that's just me. I'm not an American. I don't live there. I don't pay taxes. I don't live on their policies, so I can't say anything. But as an outsider, I just feel he's the best choice. Pretty weird saying, I wish what happens in the USA did not trickle up to Canada. Oh, well, I wish it didn't. But it often... Now to piss off the rest of us, say Quebec. See what I did there? Yeah, it's not happening today. It's not going to be a hate stream. We're almost there, but it's not going to be a hate stream. Best time of my life was when I got Dragon's Lair for my Commodore 64. Oh, no, God. Oh, God. Oh, no, Derek doesn't pay taxes? No, not in the United States, Joe. Not in the United States. I pay them in Canada. You know, unless the Russians are, giving me money, because apparently that happens if you're on the right wing. You're paid by Russia. Trudeau's giving Canada away. He gave it away a long time ago. Dude, Canada was given away and bought and paid for long before Justin Trudeau. He's just milking the benefits of it. What do we Iron Maiden saying America's our largest trading partner, you wingnuts. It matters. Of course it matters. Of course it matters. Master Snatch, Clyde Do Nothing's an American and he's moving to America to cover the country he loves. Well, we got drama. Do we got to start drama now? Is it going to turn into a hate stream? Is that... Look, he's allowed to do whatever he likes. I just think that it's very hypocritical to come on YouTube and say, I love Canada, I care about Canada, but I'm moving to America because I love Canada and I care about what happens to Canada. I just... excuse me, Clyde, in the dictionary under redundant, it says see redundant. It's everybody loves drama. Joe's drama. Yeah, everybody loves drama. We're not going to get into it. We're not doing drama. We're not. Mrs. Fringe made me promise. She said, that's not you. You got to stop. And I said, I like taking my little jabs. She says, stop it. Just stop it. Okay. Yeah. All right. D saying, so did Viva Fry. Viva moved for other reasons too. I mean, Viva, I don't know if you guys know this. Viva's a lawyer. he's he helped Rumble with their transition into the United States. He was offered his visa to go down there through Barnes, I believe. He had multiple reasons to go down to the States. Snatch saying, I didn't say do nothing you did. I know I did, because I'm not going to say it right. I don't care. It's Xylo, she's not here now, is she? She watches the streams. She crosses the streams sometimes too. Imagine life as you know it burning down to its single molecule and exploding at once. So crossing the streams is bad. I know I butchered that line, but this is Master Snatch. It's too late. Too late. The drama stream's been born. No, we're not getting into that. We're not getting into that. Tyler saying, nice stuff in the back. Well, you should see what's in the front. Hey, hey, hey. No, welcome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome in. It's but the Twinkie? Well, that is a big Twinkie. In fact, it's funny with all these Ghostbusters quotes. I know I always drop the dogs and cats living together in mass hysteria. That is a movie, even though it's really a comedy and it's not Halloween based, I always watch it every Halloween with my kids. It's if they have an early election, what is this? If they have an early election, it's an extra 600 million. What is 600 million? Start an intelligent conversation, please. Well, if this is kind of an AMA, Michelle, what would you like us to talk about? You throw a question in the chat. This is a chillin' chat. This isn't Friday Night Fringe. This isn't like, this is a fun hangout stream. This is, I don't know what the part of putting chill and chat on on a thumbnail people aren't understanding. Michelle, please drop your questions that are intelligent, and I'll happily discuss them in the stream. I will happily discuss whatever you like. I throw it in there. You guys, all of you watching, can do the same thing. This is again, it's like an AMA. It's a hangout. We're happy to do it. I cannot wait to watch Ernest Scared Stupid with my kids this Halloween. That's another one we try to watch with our kids because they're not really into the whole horror movie vibe. We don't do that. We don't do that here. Relax and have some fun. Well, again, that's what we're here to do. That's why it's a chillin' chat. Again, guys, if you have any questions you want to talk about politics wise, throw them in the chat. I'm here for you guys tonight. This is a community hangout. It's a fun hangout stream. So if you guys, anything you guys want to talk about, no holds barred. We'll talk about it. Unless it's drama, Snatch. I know you were throwing your ones up in there. I'm not getting into the drama on stream. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. I know you're a level 10 shit disturber. We're not getting into that tonight. It's listen, I am going to keep my integrity and take the high road here. Okay. It's did you cut your hair? Like, are you asking if I cut my own hair? Yeah, I cut my own hair all the time because here's the thing. I grew it out this year for a little while, and I'm one of those people that I start to get sweaty and itchy. If it grows too long, it bothers me. So I had to cut it down. Yes, I cut it down. Okay, what are your guesses on Trudeau's exit? There we go. Okay, so let's go. My guess, again, if it all depends on if the bloc is going to hold to their word, if they're going to actually follow through on their threats, because what they're asking Justin Trudeau to do is going to cost billions that Trudeau really can't afford to spend right now. So I don't think Justin Trudeau is going to give in to their demands. He may try to rectify by offering some form of a peace offering to say, look, I can give you this instead, or some portion of what you're asking for. Maybe try to negotiate a bit, but I don't think he's going to give them exactly what they want. So if the bloc wants to entertain the Conservatives and call an election, I think we could see something potentially before the end of the year called. I don't know if we'll actually go to the polls before the end of the year, but I could definitely see the premise if the bloc turns around and wants to do something. We could possibly see something by the end of the year. If not, I think it's going to be next year. It'll be next year on time. Well, the adjusted time, because we all know Trudeau wants everybody to get their pensions, but it'll be October next year if it's not then. The deadline was end of October from bloc, which may mean a November exit. Yeah. So again, if they called it within 30 days, fair enough. Or again, they may give an ultimatum. They may say, okay, last chance. We're going to break for the winter when we come back in January. If you don't have an answer for us fully, we're going to vote. They might want to grease the wheels of the NDP in the meantime as well. So again, your guess is as good as mine. I would love to see an election called tomorrow. It's not going to happen. What would Trudeau say if Gozer asks if he's a god? He'd probably pull a Ray and say, no. No, he'd say yes. He'd say yes. We all know he'd say yes. Zylo saying there won't be an election until Singh gets his pension. That's what I'm starting to think. Jam Tart needs to go for a walk in the snow. They say February, just like dear old dad. Yeah, you never know. Did we ever get that question from Michelle? Did Michelle ever drop her question? I'm checking to see. Did she drop an intelligent conversation question? Be positive and hopeful, says Jancor. Yeah, I know. We all want to be positive. We all want to see the end of Trudeau. I just, when you look at the way politics runs, again, you have to separate your emotion from reality and say, realistically, would it be within the bloc's best interests to call an election early? I think what's happening here is a power grab, and what you're seeing is with Blanchette, he's looking at the fact that they just gained those seats in Lametti's riding during the by-election that just happened. And I think that Blanchette is seeing their opportunity as the Liberals and NDP's numbers are dwindling for them to pick up seats in Quebec in the next election to make them official opposition after the next federal election. That if Blanchette sees that opportunity, he's going to take it. Unless Trudeau gives him what he wants. But I think that what you have to also look at is he knows that what he's asking for is completely ludicrous. He knows it's a never, never deal. So he's either going to get a never, never deal, or he's going to really look at the statistics and think about what's going to benefit his party. I sure as hell don't want to see the Bloc being the official opposition to a conservative majority. I don't know about you guys. UBI never passed. It was shut down. That's good. Can you guys imagine? Could you guys imagine if they put through a universal basic income? Just think about all the guys who took CERB that were sitting around doing nothing. How would you get anything done with a UBI? I mean, it would turn into social credit. You'd have to. How would you govern it? Tomorrow on the channel, we're talking about Bill C-293. I don't know if you guys have heard about that one and what's happening there. But this bill has slid under the radar of the House of Commons and is now in the Senate. And it's alarmingly scary because if you think back to the pandemic, if you're not familiar with Bill C-293, essentially it's going to give the government sweeping powers to say that they're going to shut down meat plants or our food production should there be another pandemic. That's scary as hell. They can essentially tell you what you're going to eat, what you can't eat. We've talked about the short demic before. The article that I discuss in tomorrow's video, you should really tune into that video, check it out. A lot of talking points in there as to how scary this is, how crazy it's going to get. Shar saying 293 is bad. Of course it's bad. It's bad. I'm cool. It's terrible. The gimme grants are all in on it. I'm assuming you're talking about UBI. They get 4 times what people with disability get. They already do. Did you guys not see the video I dropped last week showing all the free, not free, but all the credits that gimme grants get when they come to this country? They get like $9 grand a month if they have children to do nothing. And those are our tax dollars. Isn't that insane? Mark Pope, becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Welcome in. Great to have you on board. Thank you for joining the channel and supporting us. Much, much appreciated. I will forever stay unjabbed and will always fight for our rights and freedom. I mean, look, I've always said to people, there were some people during the pandemic, even in my family, that said, look, we're going to get certain things because we're scared, because they didn't know what else to do. And they had their reasons. And I'm not going to disclose those reasons on the stream, but I can tell you that if you were to sit and listen to some people, I'm sure you all came into contact with some people that you could say, maybe for their own sound peace of mind, it's worth it to them. If that's what they want to do. And I've always said, do whatever you floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, so long as you're not hurting anybody else. Where I had the problem during the pandemic was people telling others, you're dirty, you can't work here, you're not allowed to go out, you're not allowed to eat here, you're not allowed to shop here unless you do what we say. That's authoritarianism. You're not allowed to do that to people. I can tell you right now, my brother-in-law gave in to pressure because he wanted to work, because he didn't want to risk elderly people in his family. And he got the procedure, and he now, we just went to visit my mother-in-law over the weekend and found out that he's suffering multiple seizures a day. He's lost his ability to walk. We don't know if it's gonna ruin him or shorten his life. It's completely turned his life upside down. And his wife has to watch him all day, every day. All because society pressured him that if you don't do what we say, you're dirty, you're unacceptable. You're part of that fringe minority with unacceptable views. You're selfish. It's a terrible time to live in, and I hope that not only this country, but every country never goes back to that kind of lifestyle. I think what shocked me the most out of those 2 years was seeing how quickly people would turn on their neighbor, their friend, their family members, the behavior that they would push on to others, and how easily manipulated people were to lay down and tell the government, whatever you need, you take. Who is stupid enough to say, govern me harder? That was the one thing that blew my mind, was how simple it was to convince people to give up their rights, to say, we want to keep you in your houses. We want to stop you from going to a movie theater. You think about a movie theater for a second. There's rows of seats spread apart. You could sit people every second or third seat and still sell seats to a movie theater. People could go there. Nobody would be at risk. But they did this because they didn't want you to enjoy it. They didn't want you to enjoy being at home. They wanted to lock you up. They wanted you stuck in your home, going crazy. And Jeff, joining the Patriots Club, becoming a new member. Thank you so much. What I found so surprising, and I've talked about it before, was I had to lie to my father and tell him that we got the jabs, or else he wouldn't see his grandkids. He was scared. He'd lost my mom. He he's a baby boomer generation person. He believes what the media tells him because the media up until 20 years ago wasn't running their business the way they do today. Not on the level or extent that they run it on today as a propaganda machine. They still lied, but not nearly to the extent that they do now. He was scared, but we had to lie because he said, if you don't get it, I'm not coming around. I'm not going to risk my safety. There were things that came out of people's mouths that I never thought, people that I was close to, people that said anybody who doesn't get it should go into a ditch and be executed, that they should lock them all up. Who talks like that? And what shocked me was to sit there with them and say, you believe that that's appropriate to say that? Well, I don't want my safety concern. I get that you're scared, but do you hear the way you're talking? Do you hear how dark and sinister you sound? Does that not scare you? Nope, doesn't scare me in the least. And I'll tell you right now, asking questions like that cost me a lot of friendships. Every Halloween, we used to have a massive Halloween party at our house. You look at Chevy Chase and National Lampoon's Christmas, we were that for Halloween. My house was decked out in animatronics. We did the whole thing. My wife and I always did couples costumes. When my daughter Harley was 1 year old when we first moved into this house, we dressed her up as Chucky, and my wife and I did Freddie and Jason. I mean, we always do these fun things. We always have these big parties. We haven't had that party in a couple of years because I lost just about every one of my friends, aside from a select few. They all took a walk when the pandemic hit, based on the decisions that I made. Now, to those people, I say good riddance, because if you're going to judge somebody because they're not doing what you like, what you prefer, good riddance. And it's not just about medical procedures. I would never force my ideologies onto anybody, whether it's religion, whether it's who they date, whether it's who they're married to, whether it's how many kids they have, where they buy their home, what job they work in. It's their life. It's their decision. And I would never try to belittle or ruin anybody's life based on the decisions they're making that make them happy in their home and their lifestyle. So I didn't have a problem losing those friends. But it shocked me just how easy it happened and just how easy the government found it to come forward and say, we just want a little bit more power. And everybody said, good, take it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Did you ever think we'd get there? Did you guys ever think people would give up their rights so easily? And here's my question. And it's a question you guys aren't going to like. Why didn't anyone in the House of Commons stand up for Canadians? Anyone. I remember Pierre Poilievre standing on an overpass talking with truckers at the beginning of the Freedom Convoy, saying how great it was that they were rising up against Justin Trudeau, that it was time to get our rights back, that it was time to end this nonsense. I remember him walking into the House of Commons saying people have the right to protest, they have the right to voice their opinions. Yeah, Xylo says the PPC did. The PPC weren't in the House, though. I'm talking about MPs, elected officials. Pierre stood outside and said everybody's got the right to protest so long as they're doing it legally and lawfully. And then you never heard another peep out of him again. Don't forget that the Conservatives voted in favor of lockdowns. I still ask my representatives, why? And I don't get an answer. I get word salad. Well, we thought this was what was best for everybody. We thought this was appropriate. But yeah, they're backpedaling because they don't want to look like hypocrites. I guess what I'm getting at is that as we move into our election seasons, decide how much you want to listen to the promises that these politicians are making you on any party scale. Because, and I'm using Pierre as the example only because it's right out there in the open, the guy didn't help the truckers. He didn't go out and talk to them in Ottawa. He stood on an overpass and talked to some. He didn't go talk to them in Ottawa. Candace Bergen did. I remember Candace Bergen going down and talking to a few of them. But Pierre didn't go and talk to them. And then when him and his wife go to make a speech about why Pierre's great for Canada, the first thing they talk about is the truckers that deliver your food, how great the truckers are. You didn't defend them when Justin Trudeau trampled them with horses. Again, this isn't an anti-Pierre thing. This is trying to realize that how quickly anyone in power turns the cheek when it comes to how they're going to treat the citizens. And how quickly things went from positive to very dark and negative during the pandemic. Just Me says, I have faith in Pierre Poilievre. That's great. I'm glad you do. I have faith he's going to make the right calls too. I'm still going to vote for him. But anybody who gets mad when you bring up these points, they're not mad, they're scared. They're scared that talking about these things is going to ruin his chance for becoming prime minister, that it somehow smears him, that it makes people think differently. What you have to remember is that it's always beneficial to question your leaders. You have to question your government. I say it all the time. I had somebody blast me in the comments the other day. You love Danielle Smith. You ride for her even though she does all these things. And I said, I've questioned Danielle Smith many times. In fact, I did it a week and a half ago on the channel, right after we interviewed her. Now, luckily, those comments that were, sitting negatively on Danielle were cleared up. But I'm not afraid to question the people that I vote for. I'm not afraid to hold them accountable. I'm not afraid to say what you're doing doesn't match up with your ethics or the statements that you've made or the promises you've said you're going to give us. Why didn't she get the Coots Ford bail? I can give you an answer to that, Jennifer. She doesn't have the jurisdiction. So a lot of people see what happens in the United States, like a guy like Donald Trump when he was president. Well, he gives people a pardon. He's able to give people a presidential pardon. It doesn't work like that in Canada. Danielle really has no authority when it comes to the decisions judges make, when it comes to the law being handed down. This was a witch hunt. I've spoken to Danielle about this in private, and I can tell you that she's very sympathetic to the Coots 4. She's sympathetic to anybody who was wronged during the pandemic. However, trying to exert any kind of authority or speaking out against what happened does nothing more than smear her party, and it just gets the NDP all up in a huff, and all the people who are already against Danielle saying, oh, look, she supports them. She's terrible. She's a Terry, just like the rest of them. It wouldn't benefit anything for her to come out and say anything. But I know where her feelings stand, but that's why she can't get them. She can't get them bail. Danielle's playing chess, not checkers. Thanks for the info. I don't mind. And again, it often comes down to those things. Art Pulowski, I don't know if you guys remember Art Pulowski blasting Danielle Smith just before her election, saying she didn't get me a pardon. She didn't get my court case thrown out. And then he leaked a bunch of conversations they had and things like that, trying to demean Danielle Smith, only because he was running in politics. It was nothing about his court case. He used it to try and buy his votes. But he clearly didn't understand or didn't care or didn't think that you understood the political system by doing that, because anybody who knows anything about jurisdiction knows that the premier has no right to step in and do that. If they do that, that's no different than Justin Trudeau firing Jody Wilson-Raybould for saying you're not going to toe the line. I took my mother to see the doctor, who was very against me or rude to me. She asked for my vaccine status. I didn't disclose the information, so she kicked me out. My mother was not jabbed either. I'm sorry to hear that. And it still goes on today. In fact, I went out tonight to pick up some stuff for my wife, because the idiot that I am, I picked up a giant bottle of conditioner instead of shampoo the other day. So that was a double dip. But when you get to Walmart, there's a ton of people wearing masks in there. What gives? Somebody's yelling at Waterboy. This guy looks like he stole Christmas from Alvin and the Chipmunks. Is that supposed to be an insult? I don't even get what that means. What? Oh, guys, don't yell at Waterboy. That's the left can't meme. That's not even it doesn't even make sense. If you're going to make a joke, take a shot at me. At least, make it good. That's terrible. That's a pitiful joke. I don't get it. Geez. You can't fix stupid. It just, if you guys think this stuff bothers me, I have a laugh at this stuff all the time. I think this stuff's hilarious. I love it. Captain Insano shows no mercy. There you go. Oh my God. Right. I saw this like 10 people with masks at Chinook Mall today. It was sad. Yeah, I don't get out that often because usually, so my wife works downtown all week long. Typically, because again, the house is on the market. If we get any calls for viewings or things like that, I have to be around. So I'm a full-time dad. I'm here with my 4-year-old son all day. I get my kids to and from school. So the weekends are about the only times I go out, and usually we'll do like a restaurant or we'll try and do something fun to get out of the house for a little bit. I took my wife up to Cross Iron Mills on the weekend, which is a giant outlet mall north of Calgary. We went up to this place called Finn McCool's. It's an Irish, it's an Irish pub and restaurant. And boy, do they have the best food on the planet. If you're ever in around Cross Iron Mills, if you're in Calgary or around Balzac and Airdrie, go to Finn McCool's. They have amazing, amazing food. But walking around the mall, it was a Thursday evening. It wasn't really busy, but we went up there mostly because, a lot of the outlets there, my wife can get deals, especially on my kids' clothes. They often have a lot of deals. So we go up there maybe once or twice a year. Hey, I'm half Irish. That's decent. Hi, hi. Mystical, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Cross Iron Mills has shitty parking and traffic. It is terrible. Terrible. My kids really like Bass Pro, which is part of the reason we go up there. My kids could just stand at the big fish tank there and watch the fish for hours. Where's I have a little Irish in me too. Oh, listen, whatever you're doing while watching this with whomever you're doing it with, I don't need to know. That's TMI. Hey, there's a little dirty joke for you. Kidding. He could have had his face printed on every square and he could wipe our butt off his smug, arrogant face. Oh, there you go. They have a Finn McCool's in Banff as well. Awesome Yorkshire puddings. My wife had the Yorkshire. The mini Yorkies. We ordered them as an appetizer. They were pretty good. I got lost in Okotoks Costco and I couldn't find my mom. Okotoks Costco, I sometimes go there because I'm on the south end of Calgary, and you can go into Okotoks Costco on a weekday and it's like dead. It's perfect. It's I can't stand if I can't get so usually if I'm going to do a Costco run, I'll drop my kids off at school. I'll take my 4-year-old and we'll do like an early morning, right when the doors open kind of run at Costco, because trying to get out of there once people get in the doors, it's insane. I can't stand the crowds at Costco sometimes. I love going to Costco in America because it could be busy and it doesn't feel like it. And they got way better stuff. Where do they keep the bodies if it's dead? There's a bad dad joke. Mystical, come on. That's Leduc has an outlet mall. It is one entrance, one exit. Oh my god! So I've passed that outlet mall numerous times when going to Edmonton to visit family. And my wife and I actually looked at it the last time we went through Spruce Grove, looking at houses to decide if we were going to move up there. And she says, "You know, we should go in there sometime." I said, "No, it does not look like fun. I definitely will not be going in there." Um, which is easier to get lost in, a Costco or IKEA? Come on, dude, IKEA all the way, all the way. Um, It was my first time in Okotoks Costco, so I had to go to customer service and wait. Oh, geez, Ingrid, I'm sorry. That's too bad. It's my kids, my 4-year-old in particular, loves Costco because every time we go in there, free samples. He makes me walk the entire store to make sure that we haven't missed anything. And every time, I was joking with Master of Snatch about this. Every time I go in there, it's like I got to pick up paper towel and toilet paper. I walk out with $500 worth of stuff. It's a trap. As Admiral Akbar says, it's a trap. That Outport Outlet Mall by Leduc is my husband's favorites, isn't it? Well, it's good to know. Um, you know what it is? I don't like people. I don't like being around big crowds of people. I'm very much an introvert. And I'm just not socially with it when it comes to being in public. So I tend to stay inside. So when it comes to those malls, I'm just like, yeah, nah. I as hypocritical as it sounds, the only place I really go and enjoy a mall is West Ed, and it's only because of the amusement park, the indoor water park. I just think it's so cool that a mall has those things. But I don't spend a lot of time in West Ed when I go there. It's kind of like an in and out kind of deal. But I did promise my kids when we move to Spruce Grove, we will go see the sea lions in the mall, and I'll take them to the amusement park for a day, just to kind of break them into being, excited that we're in somewhere new. I think it'll be fun. It's I don't like to see people too much stupidity. That's part of the problem. I like West Ed, but the construction is a pain. You know what? We did pop in there the last time we were in town. I think they're putting, is it a train transit rail they're putting in there? It's causing a lot of the construction issues. Nice person saying that's a cool pinball machine. I appreciate that. Thank you. It's definitely the way to go because digital pinball. I Look, there's no comparison to real pinball, but part of the problem when it comes to real pinball is all the maintenance that goes into the bumpers and everything being hit all the time. They wear out very fast. So unless you know what you're doing, you're going to be making a lot of repairs to a regular pinball machine, plus the cost of a regular pinball machine. Whereas the digital one, this one was under $1,500. You can hook up a computer to it, as I have, and you can put any table you want on it. So I've got over 150 pinball tables on this machine, and I absolutely love it. It's definitely one of the most played machines in my house. Dirk saying, "Did you sell your house?" No, we haven't sold it yet. I spoke to my realtor, and what's really weird is that, and I was telling Master of Snatch this. There's 4 neighborhoods that boundary mine. One of the 4 neighborhoods in September sold 9 houses. The other 3 neighborhoods, not a single sale. And there's been multiple house listings, so people have been trying to get on the market. I guess people are trying to leave. A lot of speculation again was that the interest rates were coming down. People were waiting for those rates before buying a house. And he says, usually around the beginning of October, maybe we'll see a bump. Funny thing, we hadn't had a viewing in over a week, and then all of a sudden today, back to back 2 requests for a viewing. The wife and I are talking about, if those viewings don't go well, we might come down just a tad in our price to get relisted at the top of the list, and do one final push to get out of here. If the house doesn't sell by the end of October, we may think about taking it off and just waiting for spring, so the kids can finish their school year. But spring, early summer is kind of the hot season. It's kind of when you can sell your house over like 72 hours kind of deal. So we'd probably wait for then, and then just hammer out a deal, not have to take a hit on the house, and move then. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Do you have Elvira pinball? Yes, I've got Elvira and the Party Monsters. I've got a special edition of Party Monsters, and I've also got Elvira Scared Stiff, which is one of my favorite pinball tables to play. And when I say one of my favorites, it's people say, "What's your top pinball machine?" I've got about 10 in that category because they're all my favorite. They're like my kids. I can't pick between which one I love more. But Scared Stiff is one of my favorite Elvira tables, pinball tables too. So are we still looking for Michelle to put a question in here? Did she take off there? I think Michelle left. I think as we wrap in here, guys, we've been going for almost 2 hours. Do you guys have any more questions that you want to throw in the chat before we end this very weird and awkward chill and chat? I mean, we started the chill and chat playing games. Everybody complained. Then we got out and started talking about Halloween and fun things. People complained about that too. I'm gonna have to come up with a formula for these chill and chats. Maybe start a different channel for these things. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but hey, we've got over 400 people in the stream. We've had over 400 the entire time, so it can't be that bad. If you guys want to see more of these, let me know. Come into the comments after the stream when the stream is loaded so that I can go back and read the comments. Leave a comment when it's done. If you want to see more chill and chats, what you want in those chill and chats. Do you want gaming? Do you want just to hang out and talk about anything? Or do you want it to be about politics, kind of like a secondary Friday Night Fringe? Let me know again after the stream in the comments, because if you guys put it here, I'm not going to see it afterwards. And so make sure to come back in, leave a comment. Tell me what you want to see. My husband Charles. Oh my God, my husband Charles loves you, Peter Griffin. You do an awesome job. Hey, don't get too penisy there. I love doing Peter. You know what's funny is that the Peter Griffin started because I went to see Ted in theaters with my old man. And when we left the theater, I bumped into somebody and said, "Oh my God, that's my bad. I was sending a tweet." And and my old man fell on the ground, almost pissed his pants. And ever since then, people just love it. So I do it all the time. "Oh, can you do a Stewie? Give me some of that Cool Whip. Give me some of that Cool Whip you've got there." Yes, I can do Stewie. I can do Quagmire too. Giggity, 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 goo. I used to be able to do a lot. I always wanted to be a comedian when I was a kid, and I always, since I was a kid, did voice impressions. Some of them I haven't done in years. Before my voice really took a beating in my 20s, I used to do a really good Eric Cartman, and then they changed Cartman's voice on South Park, and I haven't done it in years, so I don't even attempt it now. Sometimes I do Mr. Mackey, okay? Sometimes I can do Mr. Garrison. I can also... I did a really bad Christopher Walken. And sometimes, when you're hanging around on YouTube, Walken comes creeping out. It's crazy. Wreck-It Ralph was another one my kids like with John C. Reilly, where I used to go, "Hi, my name's Ralph. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. It's kind of easy, when your dad gives you this magical hammer." I haven't done Wreck-It Ralph in a long time. Fat Bastard, I used to do him as well, because my old man was Scottish. So he used to be sitting around saying, "Right, you, where's your shitter? I got a wee turtle head poking out. Oh, and it's squidgy." So, I love your Donald Trump, though. It's pretty damn good in my ear. Millions and millions of people love the Trump. I don't think it's a good Donald Trump. My wife says to stop it. She doesn't like it. Check out Sheeniology. Yeah, I've seen him. Right, you get in my belly. Come on, you. I want my baby back ribs. Oh yeah. No, I used to love doing that stuff at parties. But mostly I do Peter now everywhere I go. My wife loves it. We'll be standing somewhere and I'll be like, "Oh my God." People in the store turn around. We did it at Finn McCool's. We were paying for the tab and the bartender had to come over and give it to us because our server was tied up and busy. And he says, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to grind your gears with that." And I went, "Oh God, you know what really grinds my gears?" And he's like, "Wow, that's pretty good." It was, Can you do some Sean Connery, please? No, but you can do some Sean Connery where you're talking about Alex Trebek. Have you guys ever watched the Celebrity Jeopardy? That's not what your mother said last night. I can't do like a really good Sean Connery. Oh my God, that Christopher Walken, it's spot on. He's hard to do. It's great. It's a good Trump also. Crazy. How? Mario. I can't do a Mario. I'd have to have some booze in me to do Mario. I'd have to get my throat a little loose with some booze to get in there. Turd Ferguson. Yeah, what do you want? That's not my name. That was the best Celebrity Jeopardy sketch where Norm Macdonald played Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds. That's not my name. Turd Ferguson. Yeah, what do you want? You buzzed in. No, I didn't. It was classic. So classic. Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, I can't do Steve Austin at all. Does Bowser have a voice? I didn't know Bowser had a voice. If you're talking Jack Black, no. Arthur, just keep doing the gaming live streams, Derek. As I said, we talk about a lot of different things as well. Well, that's kind of why I liked doing these streams, because it was kind of like a hangout. It was a fun little chill thing. But I'm telling you, it wasn't one person's comment that made me stop. Like I said, if people start downvoting the stream, it happened last time, and it took me about a week to catch up in YouTube's algorithm, because I was dropping videos and people in the community were DMing me saying, Derek, I didn't even know you put videos out this week. We didn't get notified. It's because of the downvotes. And there were a lot of comments in that stream saying, I didn't come here to watch video games. Why are you playing video games? So like that was the reason I stopped, was before it gets absolutely crazy. I stopped the games because I don't want to take another week trying to get caught up. Len, I never knew you were this talented. Well, talk to my wife. She'll tell you I know a few tricks. I used to do the Ultimate Warrior and Paul Bearer. Oh God, Paul Bearer. Shut up, Meg. What is this stream about? Are we finally being freed of Trudeau's tyranny? Says Alexander. No, we were just talking about how we're on the countdown. We got a year. We got a year or less left of Trudeau. We're Lois? No, I can't do a Lois. I'm a dude. Just set a day for gaming and for politics. Well, that's kind of what we were doing here, Xylo. Again, the streams were kind of off the rails because, again, of the move. There's some nights where we have a viewing at like 7:00. And by the time I get home, like, again, I pull this desk out, all the equipment every time I'm going to stream. So sometimes I don't, have the urge to get everything set up to stream for like an hour. So I don't bother. It's been hard. So as soon as I move, we'll start solidifying nights for those kind of things. Can you do a Hank Hill and say, boy, I tell you what, dang it, Bobby, what the hell are you talking about? That's why it's called Chillin' Chat. Well, that's what I thought. Elon Musk is a tough one to do. I couldn't do Elon. I could probably do it eventually. Imagine Trudeau showing up on Family Guy. He did. There was an episode where Trudeau made an appearance in a clip of Family Guy, and Peter Griffin said, "Is there nothing that guy can't do?" And he walked away into the sunrise like a hero or something. Seth MacFarlane's a lefty. We've known that for a long time. God dang it, Bobby. The complainers need to leave and just be woke. Well, can you do Bender? No, Bender's a very difficult one to do. Who is it? John DeMeo that does his voice. He does Marcus from Gears of War. Bender. He's done a plethora of voices. He's got a very unique voice. He's very difficult to do. Oh, you want to see my Joe Biden impression? There you go. Sleeping. And that's spot on. He was Aquaman as well. George W. I used to be able to do a George W. I haven't in years. I'd want to practice it before I do it. Hang on. I used to do Beavis and Butthead when I was in high school, and I haven't in so long. I could be like, "Hey, Beavis, this is cool. Yeah, this is really cool. Hanging out on stream, playing video games." I did the Joker once. Oh, well, Mark Hamill's Joker. I used to love that. In fact, that's part of the reason we named my daughter Harley Quinn. I was a big fan of Batman the Animated Series. In fact, I've watched the entire series. We have it on Blu-ray. I've watched the series multiple times with my kids. But I always used to love sitting around going, "Hello, Harley," every time she walked into a room, and she hates it. She comes home from school and I'm like, "Oh, it's Harley Quinn." We're gonna score. God, I can't even. My throat's off. I can't do it. I need a water. I don't have a water here. Or I could totally do it. Is that your basement with all those fun machines? It is, Tim. So it's funny because everybody goes, "Sure, you did it for your kids." No, I did it for me too. But during the pandemic, my mother, in 2019, my mother was diagnosed with mesothelioma. She was dying, and she bought me a 3/4 scale Street Fighter machine from Arcade One Up as kind of a keepsake gift because I used to go to 7-Eleven with her when I was a kid all the time, and I'd play the arcade, and it was kind of our thing. So when that arcade machine came into the house, my kids really took to it. They loved it. Now, my youngest was 1 at the time. My son Wade, who's now 8. Or no, he wasn't 1. He would have been 2 or 3. Sorry. He would have been 3 at the time. They really took to the machine and they enjoyed it. And I had just liquidated my entire retro game collection to develop the basement into an actual living space. And I had a little bit of money left over. So they were bringing out more machines. And I always loved arcades as a kid. So I said to my wife, "You know what? I'm going to buy some more machines. We're going to build a little arcade down here." And it kind of turned into a bit of an obsession. My wife, if you've ever watched Mrs. Fringe on Friday nights, we're so good together. I love my wife more than anything in the world. But one of the things I've always loved most about my wife is she's always said, "Be a big kid. I love that about you." I mean, last year for Christmas, my gift from her was the Halo Needler Nerf gun because I play Nerf darts with my kids. I'm a big kid. That's me. That's who I am. I'm a goofball. Um, so she lets me do this because she says, as long as we can afford it, we're not going into debt doing it. You do what you like. And I do the same for her. She likes to go shopping on this Shein website. So every time she wants a shopping order, if I buy a machine, she gets a Shein order. So win-win. I think that's why she got a little excited when I was talking to her about the Dragon's Lair machine that I wanted to buy the other day, where she says, "Are you getting it?" Because she knew that meant she was getting a Shein order. So I said, "No, I'm not going to buy it because we're moving. I can't. I don't want to spend the money." Um, but um, but yeah, we built this arcade for the kids and for me, and I play down here with my kids all the time. We love it. In fact, some of you might remember live streams or even videos that I'm making where my son Steve comes down. He always hops on Star Wars. He loves Star Wars. Um, Jay by saying, "I'm sorry to hear about your mom." Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's Ryan, you're still going. Awesome. Sorry, I'm late. I was actually wrapping up, but it's Sheen is addictive. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I'll always be a kid at heart. Growing up sucks. Too serious. Will love my video games and Lego forever. So my wife understands that video games are what kind of calms me down. Aside from her, she keeps me grounded in life. I've always said that the most difficult things, including losing my mother, that I've gotten through are because she's there. I've known my wife since I was 17 years old. We met in high school, and she's my best friend. And she's never tried to change me. She has always said, you know, if you want to play your video games, play them as long as you're not ignoring the kids. And again, if the certain games that I'm playing don't interest my kids, I wait till everybody goes to bed, and that's usually when I play. That's when I get my gaming in. And they always come first. You know, if they need something, gaming takes a back seat. But I love that my wife allows my nerdy nature to explode because she doesn't want to change me. She likes who I am. And I'm always going to be grateful for that. I'm always going to be grateful that my wife and I have that amazing and incredible dynamic. You know, I hear a lot of people, and I've had friends who marry and their spouse tries to change them. They try to say, you're not going to do this anymore, or you're going to grow up, or you're going to wear these kind of clothes when you go out. You're not sleeping in anymore, certain things. Um, I wish everybody could have the relationship that I have with my wife. And I hope that you do. If you're in a relationship, I hope it's a similar relationship where you're given the freedom to do what you want, to live the way you want, because after all, that's who they fell in love with. Um, I personally love the smile on my wife's face. You know, even when we went to Disney last year and I bought a whole bunch of like 3 lightsabers and we're swinging them around with the kids in Disneyland and having a laugh and just she says, "I just love that you're a giant kid." You know, that our kids get to grow up with a responsible father, but also somebody who knows how to have fun. You know, it's important. How much would I have to pay for the Star Wars or Donkey Kong ones? So the Star Wars machine behind me, it's an arcade one up. I believe if you're in Canada, the Brick or Best Buy still sell them. I think they're somewhere around $650. Um, the Donkey Kong, I mean, this one is fully restored. I bought it um, at what I thought was a high price, but I fully restored it. I redid the paint, new decals, new control panels, new recapped CRT, everything. I restored it to day one factory condition. And in this state, it's probably worth somewhere around $3,000 to $4,000 Canadian. Um, so yeah, real arcades are a little bit more expensive. Um, but that was fun. It was a fun project. And now when I'm moving, I'm actually thinking about converting it over to an actual Donkey Kong. I think Ingrid saying we need to do a meet and greet for everyone near Calgary or surrounding areas. Yes. So um, before I move to Spruce Grove, the wife and I have said we're going to find some kind of like pub or place that we'll be at for a few hours one night, and we'll do a meet and greet. Maybe I'll even live stream it while we're there from the phone. Something fun like that, where if anybody wants their book signed, if people want to come and meet, say hello, get selfies, do whatever, I'm happy to meet with you, chat with you, do those things if you're in the Calgary area. I will definitely set those up and I will put it in a community post as well as mention it repeatedly on videos before that happens. And then again, once we get to Spruce Grove, there's been an outpouring of people in that area through Edmonton, Leduc, Spruce Grove itself, Stony Plain, all these folks that watch the channel that want to do a meet and greet as well. They've been very welcoming. And again, I'm very grateful for that. Definitely makes the move and the thought of moving a lot easier. So we'll definitely be setting up something there as well. Looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to meeting those of you in the area who watch the channel. I've bumped into some people in public who say, I watch the channel. I love your videos. I'm always flattered to hear that. Guys, I'm just a regular guy like you. Um, I'm always happy to connect with people. So believe me, anytime somebody wants to meet, I'm always happy to meet with somebody, chat with them. And yeah, it's always my pleasure to chat with people and hear what they have to say. The George in Okotoks is awesome. So I probably won't be doing the meet in Okotoks just because even though it's very close to where I live, I'll try to be somewhere. We were talking about there's a place in Calgary called Shanks. It's in the southern part of Calgary. We might do something around there so that anybody above the south end of town still comes for a small drive, but anybody south takes a little trip as well. So it's kind of a central meeting place, something like that. Bam Bam saying Edmonton here would love to meet you. I would love to meet people too. I think it'll be fun. Romanian saying I'll be there for the meet and greet. Love this community. That's part of the reason we want to do this is because I love this community. I've said multiple times we have the best community on this platform. I don't care if it's a channel with 3 million subscribers. This community gets it. There's good people in here, and I'm happy to listen to you guys, meet with you guys, hear what you have to say anytime I get that opportunity. So we'll set something up. So I will not leave town without getting that set up. So again, keep your ears open, your eyes open. I will announce them in live streams. I'll announce it on video, and I'll also do a community post. So hopefully you don't miss when we announce those. On that note, ladies and gents, I'm gonna hit the hay because I got to be up at 6 a.m. to get kids off to school. I have 2 viewings in the house tomorrow, so again, I got to wake up, get the house clean, get animals out of here. Going to be a busy day, but on that note, ladies and gents, tune in for tomorrow's video about C293. It's a good one. It's got a lot of information as to what's coming up and being snuck through the House of Commons, and it's devastating to our future. Make sure to check it out. If you're watching that video, give a thumbs up and a comment down below. Again, it helps get us out there. It helps push the video. Also, after the video is done here, when we cut off the stream again, chime into the comments. Let me know what you want to see on Chill and Chat streams, because there seems to be a disconnect if people don't like the gaming, or if people want more political talk, or if they just want to talk and chit chat and have an AMA, which is ask me anything if you don't know internet lingo. Let me know what you guys want. Again, not here, but in the comments when the stream ends, so I can go back and check what you guys have to say. On that note, ladies and gents, I hope you guys had a good night here for the most part. A little weird, but I did. I always have fun chatting with you guys. I love chatting with you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Tune in Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central for Friday Night Fringe. Mrs. Fringe will be here, and boy, hopefully we'll have some good news to talk about on the House front. I sure hope so. I doubt it, but fingers crossed. We'll see you guys Friday night. You guys have a great week. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you later. Take care.